One of the really interesting features of ASP.NET when it first was introduced many years ago is that it is based on a just-in-time compilation, and it's also based on being dropped out of active memory and process when it's not been in use for a certain amount of time. And from a resource management standpoint, that's great. And in terms of optimizing for the right location, having just-in-time compilation is great. The problem is that when you're running an application and your application is not yet loaded and the first request hits your application, then that application is not only going to have to be loaded into memory, it may well need to be compiled as well. And while that process is certainly optimized, it also certainly represents an overhead in the response time of your application. So an option in Azure, which is actually really an IIS option, but it's available to you in Azure Web Apps, is this concept of always on. Now, first of all, be aware, always on is not available for free or shared tiers. So it's only in the basic and above tier that you can set this option. It's very easy to set. You just set it in the configuration of your web app. All right, and what it does is it generates an HTTP request on a regular basis. It's just pinging your web app. That's all it's doing. And by doing that, though, it's making sure that your web app stays resident in memory on the virtual machines that it's running on, which is why it doesn't work in the free or the shared, because that's shared space with other subscriptions. That was the word I was looking for. In any case, pretty cool. So by doing that, it's going to prevent the web app from being unloaded, and it's not going to need to be rebuilt, all right? And it's basically intended as a heartbeat to make sure that it does not recycle the app pool. And this is going to be useful in a lot of cases where you want to make sure that your application is not dropping out of memory, so it's not taking that overhead to be reloaded, and as I said, possibly recompiled.